are live, and welcome to the Seven Cities Shoptalk Sports Show, broadcasting from the beautiful state of Virginia to everyone all over the world. I'm your host, Big Law, and as I said before, we are Seven Cities, and I got my co-host here with me today. We may have a co-host or so drop in as well. As I say that, here comes Mr. Ed in the building. Let me go ahead and let you guys get your opening monologues. Wood, you go first. Go on, jump on in.
Okay, guys. Nah, it's going to be wrong for a change. I'm eating a little crow right now, so I'm hoping that doesn't change. Ed, you finally here, Ed? Better late than never. Hey, a lot to go over, Law. We'll get into it a little bit. So back to you, Law. I don't want to interrupt the program.
Okay.
Be on time, Ed.
Let's go. Hey, Ed's here. What's going on, Ed?
Hey, guys. Just the usual insanity.
Okay, usual insanity. We got you.
I survived the colonoscopy yesterday. I'll be all right.
All right, AB in the building. What's going on, AB?
Hey, y'all. It's so funny because my opening monologue, actually, Ed kind of took my shine there with the Kyron Lacey thing.
Sorry.
So I wanted to start the show off by saying his name because it deserves to be said. I think last night, Ryan Clark probably said it best, so I'm going to read what he said. Kyron Lacey was supposed to be in the NFL. Kyron Lacey was accused of something and being investigated for something that he did not do. And he died having to live with the guilt and the consequences of a guilty man knowing that he was innocent. This was supposed to be a career, but at least he was supposed to be here. At some point throughout his career, I would have expected to say his name. So I'm going to say it tonight. Kyron Lacey was innocent. Kyron Lacey should be here with us.
Very powerful, AB. We appreciate your opening monologue of the young man, Mr. Lacey, Kyron Lacey. So, and that's something we may even talk about and cross it a little bit during this show. But as we said before, if you got a chance to read the article, it's definitely worth reading. You know, we are no strangers to tragedy here at the University of Virginia when it comes to young, promising young men, scholar athletes, and this is something that is a problem. I'm gonna call it what it is. It's a problem in the United States, and and it's only going to take all of us to fix it. But we want to thank you for joining us in another episode of our brand of dysfunctional camaraderie. And as of now, this shop is open. And as I said, I'm your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson, and we got a lot to talk about. We are halfway. Say it with me, everybody. Halfway through the season. How fast has that gone, everybody? Now tell me, doesn't it feel like it was just summertime? Like we just started playing games? But apparently, as Father Time would have it, he makes time move as fast as anything in the world, as swift as it is. And as fast as time is moving, we are halfway through our football season. We are in, believe it or not, preseason hockey season, preseason basketball season. Can you get that? Or pro basketball. Before long, we'll have our college basketball and our new team playing. And all this happening, I think we need to take a pause and savor, or better yet, give respect and acknowledge what has been going on the football field, that we could be doing something that's kind of unprecedented. And I'm not going to say it's totally, a finished product, but we could be on the cusp of doing something unprecedented at the University of Virginia, based off of what their predictions are and based off of where they are right now. But let's go ahead and jump into it. What we're going to do here on this show today, we're going to do our mid-season grades. Viewers and listeners that are in the chat, go ahead and throw in your numbers there, or put in your players, of offensive players that are year, defensive players of the year. But the marquee reads, what we're going to talk about, like I said, top offensive player, top defensive player of the year, opinions of the team going forward. Is Coach Elliot safe moving forward, given the trajectory of the team? Also, top play of the year so far, halfway through. And then we may even give a little bit of a fantasy update as well. But I'm going to bring it in with Ed. Are you ready, Ed? Here you go. I'm bringing you in, Ed. I got you mute, brother. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. There you go, Ed.
Okay. So you wanted offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. Okay. Offensive player of the year. What's the kid's name? Jameer.
We'll do
Taylor?
one. Let's just do offense, and then
Okay.
we'll all do offense, and then we'll all do defense. So go ahead.
Jamari Taylor. Ed.
I think we lost him.
Is that me, or he's still in the restaurant Wi-Fi still?
No, that we lost Ed. I think Ed will come back. Let me come to you, Wood. Offensive player of the year so far, halfway through.
Well, I think the low-hanging fruit would be Chandler Morris, but I'm going to go with Jamari Taylor. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. I don't know, 9 touchdowns, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe 8, 9, something like that. But I would go Jamari Taylor because when you have and I'll say the offensive line, but obviously my answer is Taylor. But the offensive line is doing great right now with a couple of injuries we have. But when you have a solid running game, that sets up everything else. Play action, the screen passes when they're blitzing. It's easy to say Chandler Morris. And obviously I don't take anything away from Chandler Morris. He's been phenomenal. But I think that's low-hanging fruit, so I'm not going to criticize anybody for going with him. But I say Jamari Taylor because he's setting up everything right now, along with the offensive line. And we're moving guys around the offensive line. Metcalf's at center. We got a lot of injuries, but my answer would be Taylor.
Okay. Offensive player of the year, halfway. Wood has had Jamari Taylor, who, like they said before, they say it all the time. He was a walk-on on an FCS level program. And now he's, quite frankly, a top 5 running back in the ACC right now. I think we got to call him that, don't we? I know he's top 2, top 3 in touchdowns, in the conference, and top 3 or 4 rushing as well. So, he's putting up these big numbers, and I believe he's on a trajectory to hit 1,000 yards as well, which is definitely something that you that you want out of your top running back. But that's here nor there. We'll get into the rest of the guys as well. Let me bring you in, AB, offensive player of the year.
So I was actually going to say the offensive line, just because they have created so many opportunities for people to be able to shine and for our offense to be able to put up the numbers that we've put up so far this year.
Okay. All right. Offensive line is a good choice as well. That leaves me with, as you guys said, it leaves me with Chandler Morris. We got Jamari covered. We got the offensive line covered. I'm going to go in and say the quarterback. And the reason why is because I think if you remember Chandler Morris when they did the ACC preseason meeting, when everyone goes to Charlotte, descends on Charlotte with their top players, and they talk about what they're going to do this year, what they expect to do. Chandler, I believe he made the statement there, and he said, I didn't come here to go 5-7. And some people may have chuckled at that. Some people may have said, you don't know where you're at, man. They sold you a real bill of goods at Virginia to get you to come here and got you believing that you're going to win more than 4 or 5 games here. But that was his statement. He didn't smirk. He didn't break character. He was right on par with it. And he has backed it up with every single play on the field, not to mention putting his body on the line. You think about, at least 3 home wins. The win where he, Coastal Carolina, he's going for the goal line, takes a shot in his shoulder, which almost like he just drops like a sack of potatoes right there at the 1 or 2 yard line, and has to come out because he hurt his shoulder, right? So he had to come out then. Didn't have to do that. We're winning the game handedly, but he just wanted more just because that's what his spirit is. Second one I can remember, right off the top of my head, him scrambling, is the overtime touchdown against Florida State, doing more work with his feet, and he scrambles and gets to the pylon and dives at the pylon and makes and it's the game winning touchdown for the team. And he, and that's just another episode of Chandler being Superman and diving at the goal line to give the team the lead. And then this past week, he does it again, takes a wicked shot from 2 or 3 players from Louisville, at Louisville, mind you, with them taking his head off pretty much. He's laying down there on the ground, and I'm thinking, oh man, he's in concussion protocol. Our guy's hurt, and I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm thinking long term, and he's down there, and I'm like, come on, get up, Chandler, get up, and he gets up after a while and he walks off. And the next play, they do a direct snap to Jamar Taylor, and Jamar Taylor, goes in and scores, and we win the game. And he's the first person out on the field running out there. I said, oh, wow. I said, this kid, he's just dynamite, man. He's the shot in the arm. You think about Bryce Perkins and what Bryce Perkins brought to this program when he was infused, when he was injected into this program, what that meant. The only regret I have with him is we only have him for 1 year. His attitude, the way that he plays, I want to say he might be on some of the awards. They have him like number 10 in the Heisman race, which is saying something for a quarterback. I can't remember the last time a quarterback from Virginia was ranked anywhere, in a Heisman race this late in the season. And it was probably, decades ago, last time we had something like that happen. But the kid is hard as stone. And has a heart as big as the stadium is. And appreciate him being the leader of this program. He's implementing, and that's another thing about it. The coaches have had it hard here. I would not, and ain't nobody taking up for them, but those coaches have had it hard here at the University of Virginia. And it was self-induced, or it was, some people think it was deserved, some people don't. But, the bottom line is results, and you got to win, wherever you go. And they weren't winning. So people were definitely, giving them, what teams and what coaches get when they don't win. But for him to come in, hear the message, and change the message to what he feels the message to be, and then move that into something that he can push throughout the team, and the team follow him as their leader. I got to give it up for Chandler, man. The infusion of him is like Bryce Perkins when Bryce came in and totally changed everything of what this team and the trajectory of what it could be. So Chandler Morris. So my Chandler Morris soapbox. That was my offensive player of the year. Now let's go with AB. Let's get your defensive player of the year, or excuse me, of the year for mid-season, half season.
I'm gonna have to say Pavard. I just feel like he's been doing a lot in the backfield, and he's had a couple interceptions. He had a great game against Florida State. I just feel like he's really stepped up. I mean, and
Good
he's played
Lord.
all season. I can't, I'd love to say Cam Robinson, but he just came back. I'd love to say Clary, they just come back, right? So the only thing I can say is somebody that I've actually watched, and I feel like he's done well.
Okay. All right. That's a good pick. Very good pick. Let me come up to Wood. Defensive Player of the Year mid-year.
Well, like Amber said, I think Cam Robinson, he missed some time with injury, so he's obviously up there. But he's coming on strong. Obviously, he was halfway one game. I think he's had 2 games back now. But I would say Mitchell Melton. He's had 2.5 sacks. He's had a lot of solo tackles. He's had 2 forced fumbles, I believe. You have to check my stats. But right now, if you don't give it to Cam Robinson because of his time of injury, Mitchell Melton, without a doubt.
Okay. All right. Mitchell Melton. All right. I like that pick as well. And I think Mitchell Melton is the defensive lineman player of the week 2 weeks in a row in the ACC. How about that?
I think he's out of Ohio State, I think.
Yes, he's out of Ohio State. Yeah, and he's here's Ed. Ed's back. All right, Ed, you ready?
Yes, I love working remotely.
So give me your offensive player of the year. We're on defense now, but let me let you
Okay.
get an opportunity to give your offensive player of the year.
I think it's the Taylor kid. I think he's made a difference in what we can do, what we're able to do. That direct snap thing seems to be working like a charm. So I'd have to say it's with it. I can never. Not Jeremiah. Jeez.
Jamari Taylor.
Jamari, thank you. Jamari Taylor.
Jamari Taylor's a great pick.
Yeah.
Now let's get your defensive player.
I'm going to go with Jameer Carter.
Okay.
I think what he's done what he and the rest of the D line up front have done. They got 5 sacks Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
There's your QB pressures. And they were harassing Castellano the week before, so he's forcing offensive lines to account for him, which frees up the guys on the end to do their thing. So he does yeoman's work. He's what's the word? A two gap technique.
Sure. He's single gapper, 2 gapper, all of it.
Yeah, he's. I'm guessing. I don't know this for certainty, but I'm guessing he's got either side of the center, and if a big man is there, you're going to have to go somewhere else. Otherwise, Jameer's going to just start racking up stats. So I'd say it's Jameer.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Ed.
Ed and I agree on offense again, so something's wrong with this.
Look, Ed, you stole my thunder on that, man.
I'm sorry, man.
It's okay. My guy.
Great minds.
Right. Absolutely right. Britton and Jameer Carter in the middle. Hunter Osborne. Those guys, that 3-4 rotation. I'm missing a defensive tackle. Oh my goodness, I'm missing a defensive tackle right now. But there's a 4 rotation. There's Carter, there's Britton, there's Hunter Osborne from Alabama, and then there's another interior defensive lineman who I'm missing. Those 4 guys, to me, are my defensive players of the year, because one thing about it was we couldn't really stop the run last year.
No.
Which really allowed teams to dictate to us. Think about what we're doing to teams right now when we're running the ball down the throat, running the ball, and they cannot get possession of the ball. We're running clock. We're moving the ball, gaining possession, gaining time of possession, and gaining field position, and time possession. So we're moving controlling the clock, and you can't do anything about it because we're just running down the throat. When you have stout defensive linemen like that, that right there is the essence of playing defense. The line of scrimmage. If we can stop them from moving our line of scrimmage, and we can play on their side of the line of scrimmage, all of a sudden things change. Our linebackers can do special things when they're protected by our defensive guys up front. And then you throw in Fisher K-Mac, 6'6", 6'7", I believe, defensive end, who's a rotational defensive end. And then Ohio State, Mitchell Melton on the other side. And then there's another defensive end that they bring in as well, another tall defensive end. You're talking about guys who are starting to get home. And when they start to get home, when you don't have to blitz, that's when you really have to watch out for a team. And I'll give Coach Elliot this. He said, hey, guys, don't worry about the defense. They just started playing. Some guys had just gotten there before fall practice. Some of these guys didn't play spring ball, with UVA.
Yeah.
Some of these kids just came in just like it was just like in high school. You know how sometimes when you and Ed, maybe you football season getting ready to start, some kid transfers in from some other school, and it's like and he's a star, and it's like, where the hell did this kid come from? And their parents just moved to the neighborhood, or they just moved into your district, and it's like no one saw this kid coming. You know what I'm talking about, Wood?
Oh yeah, I got you. We got a kid like that this year.
Yeah, when it's like, where'd this kid come from? Oh, he's from Florida. He just moved in here a month ago, right before a fall practice, before two-a-days, and he's on the team, and he's one of the best players on the team, or he might be the best player on the team. I've seen it happen 100 times. It's happened for me as a coach on the high school level, and happened against me, where I've had a player come in. He was the best player on the team. And
just magically showed up.
Yeah, and you couldn't scout for him. You had no gauge of where this kid came from, but he dropped out of the sky and changed an entire team. We've had a few of those kids come here, and now you can see them starting to gel together. Shout out to Coach Rudd. Everyone, was told to be patient. Let him work his magic. Now you can kind of see some of that magic happening.
The Wizard is in.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had 2 touchdowns, in a game in was it 15 years? Something crazy.
03, I think they said.
Okay. All right. What is
I think it was 03.
20. Was it
22
years? 22 years. We haven't had 2 touchdowns, 2 defensive touchdowns. Phenomenal, man. Sensational, as they would say. I just think that I just think that if our defense is going to give us points when we're already top 5 scoring team in the nation, and our defense is going to give us points, I'll take it. Let's go.
At some point in time, your offense is going to struggle. Your defense has to pick up. Right. I'm not saying it necessarily needs to give you 2 touchdowns, but your defense sometimes keeps you in a game until the offense can get itself together.
Well, you're going to have games like that where you're not going to win. It doesn't look like you're going to win, but stick with the formula.
Wasn't Louisville ranked nationally as far as defense?
They're one of the best teams.
That's what I was thinking, that they were ranked nationally. I'm not sure where, but I thought they were ranked.
They're definitely tough. So let me come to you. Go ahead, AB.
I feel like that's where we were this past. Sorry, I am not feeling good, so I had my camera off. But I feel like that's where we were this past weekend. Our offense has been so powerful over the last 6 games, but this final 6 game before this bye, I just feel like we were kind of running on fumes, and we needed our defense to really come through and make some plays for us because we're mid-season and they've been playing their asses off. So I definitely feel like if there was any type of game for them to come through on, it was this last game. So it came in the clutch.
Absolutely right, and I can see them getting better. That's the thing about it. They're still, the defensive backs are still trying to put a more a better graded game together, where they grade each other out. They grade, they self-scout. They're trying to put a better product together. And I think that they're working on it. Antonio Clary is still is having spot duty. And they're trying to really mix him in. I think, he's a work in progress as far as health-wise, I believe. And I think once he really gets going and he really gets flying around like typical UVA box safeties do, we are really going to start making even more plays than we have since the midseason of the year. But 5-1 team, I'm gonna come to you, Wood. I want your opinion of the team so far. 5-1. Give me your overview at 5-1. Where are you in your mind looking at, I guess, a team that's 5-1 at the bye, getting healthier? Give me your opinion.
Ed, what are you smiling about?
Because I'm 5-1. I'm 5-1. I thought at best we'd be 4-2. So at this point, we're playing with house money, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I think you're right. No. I think I'll eat crow, and I've been telling you, Law. I've been telling you, Amber.
You've been telling everybody that would listen.
I thought we'd win 6 games. If we win 6 games, it will be.
What's up, Mayfield? Go ahead, Wood. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
An epic collapse. But even with the NIL money and NIL and the transfers and all this shit, 5-star defense from Ohio State, Alabama. This Chandler Morris, I thought he was from a small college. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It is UVA. We'll do what we do. We'll do 6-6 is what I said. And I hope that doesn't happen because that'd be epic collapse. But, I mean, that honestly, all is unbelievable.
Right.
We're one bad pass away from being undefeated, at NC State.
That's what's crazy about it. You're right. You're right about that.
I'll first tell you I was wrong. But you're actually talking about, it is UVA, so let's not hiccup on the road. Let's not lose in the games we shouldn't lose.
That's my line.
I think the only game we're supposed to lose now is Duke on the road.
I got one more.
No, well, Tech is Tech. But if you we are where we are, and then we have a chance at the college football playoff, ACC playoff, championship at that. I was
minimum.
I'm wrong right now. I won't say I'm completely wrong. I think they'll win way more than 6 games. But man, to be even talk about the ACC championship and maybe a college football playoff berth is crazy to me. So I'll be the first to tell you I'm wrong, but there's a lot of season left. But I think we'll win more than 6. So I think I'm wrong.
Right. Like you said, we were one bad pass away with Dakota Twitty right there in front of him, and he wanted to, take the whole bite of the apple. But yeah, one pass away, or if he wanted to use his feet. But it's all right. I think it was something that this team needed to have happen so he could learn to finish. All right. And finish in a way that is going to constitute a win, a definite win. And I think having that happen, I don't think those guys wanted to feel that anymore. I don't think Chandler wanted to feel that feeling anymore of, hey, that was an awful loss the way they played that game and to lose that game, in that environment. And it was like that game, we should have won that game. We had them hands down. They were on the ropes and I threw a bad pass, and I knew I should have checked it down because the guy was right at the pylon. The tight end was right at the pylon. And I wanted to go, deeper into the end zone.
Amy talking about eating crow. I'd much rather eat crow than win 2 games like you got in your program and coach.
Amy says, I'm sick. She said, I may be sick to my stomach, but my thumbs work.
Yeah, I can still hide. My stomach hurts.
You say, but my thumbs work, though.
Yeah, if you watch Tech long enough, it'll make you sick to your stomach.
Let me come to you, AB. Give me your opinion of the team so far. 5-1 at the break.
Honestly, I gave them an 8-win season because I was hoping that spending that much money in NIL that we would be able to do something. But honestly, I'm beyond shocked on what we've been able to do. My only thing is like we have to keep doing it every year. So every year we got to keep until they change the rules of the NIL. Even if they do, we have to keep doing what we're doing to keep winning, because a lot of these guys that we've got, like, this is it for them. So we're going to be starting all over again next year. So that's the part that scares me now, is that this isn't a team that we've developed that's come in that's going to give us a couple years.
Right.
This is a team that
Yeah.
we've got this year. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing something with it, though. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm shocked. I'm happy, but of course, I'm thinking about the future as well.
The one thing I can say about this is that doing what we're doing. What's going on, Amy? Amy saying VT sucks. I have said that from the get-go.
And water is wet.
My man Dominique Mayfield, brother I played football with, played against in the Virginia Beach in 757. That guy right there would crack your helmet. I remember those days. Dominique, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in, brother. Let's see here. Amy, she also saying this is win now and go back to the portal for more. Well, you're absolutely
it
right.
Should be working.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I feel. I feel like the wins that we've had is only gonna help in drawing more students in. I can tell you one thing. That rush the field thing with all the recruits that were there for that Florida State game. You want to know how many fans, players who are gonna want to come to Virginia just off of that scene and having that student body do that and shown the love of how things could be at the university. You follow me on some of that AB, Chad and Ed.
Yeah.
That means it was the most watched Friday night football game other than a holiday or Black Friday, which is pretty much is right after Thanksgiving. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
It was the most watched non-holiday game ever, with the most views on ESPN. And that's our school. That's Virginia getting that. Getting all that those views. Oh gosh. She's not gonna take it. Amy's like, that's it. I don't care how sick I am.
She's about as easy as wood to provoke. I'm just saying.
She jumped over here.
Courage, Camille.
Smalls. What's up, Amy?
She took that penicillin, because I tell you, she recovered fast.
Yeah.
How you doing, Amy?
I can't take no penicillin. I'm allergic to that. Y'all be I'm going to anaphylactic.
We don't want that.
You're allergic to winning too, apparently.
How you doing, Amy? Hopefully you're feeling better. What would you like to comment on? Here's Amy here, our resident Hokie, part of the team as well, co-host.
Token Hokie.
What's going on, Amy? What's on your mind? Because I can see something must ate you up, as they would say in the country. It ate you up.
So, just like with basketball, it's going to be win now, a new team every year, new players. And if the ACC don't get on the board like the SEC teams, we're going to be left behind. And by the way, there's all kinds of feedback. I think it's because it's Ed's mic. Just so just so you know.
You're going to try it now.
There you go. But that's the mentality of what's going into this. Is right now UVA's playing and they're playing great. I'm not taking that from anybody. How many of these players are still going to be here next year? Just
a lot of them are gone.
You're not building for the future. And now worry about tomorrow after season's done. And that's what it's going to be for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and you said it right, Amy. That's everybody. UVA is not the only team that's bringing in another 30, 40 starters, or excuse me, 30, 40 players, and half of them are going to be your starters. Everybody in the college landscape now is doing that. The only team that's not in the portal bringing in a lot of players is Clemson. You think about it's Dabo Sweeney. Dabo is bringing in. I mean, he's just got into the portal now this past year. This year right here
And
that
he's
we're in.
losing. And he's
You're right,
losing.
right, and that model
And
is
it's not
showing
just
to be
he's losing extremely bad.
right, right, and that's showing not to be a successful model. So kids see that. Kids saying he ain't bringing in no players, and he's just trying to develop his own players, and the kids are like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going there for that. So unless you're
Well,
already in the pipeline,
and that's why
go ahead,
Tony
Amy.
Bennett quit. I'm telling you. That's why Tony Bennett quit. That's why Ham quit. I mean, there's a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot of old school
Roy
coaches.
Williams, all of them quit.
Roy Williams, yep. It's a whole lot of old school coaches they're done. They're done playing the way that they if you can't change with the portal, you're done.
Yep. Until something's done with more control, what happens is they lost a lot of control. Is what happened, and they gave a lot of control to the kids, to the players, to the parents, to the agents. So the more the decision is really based off of where the kid wants to go, and not necessarily what the coach can do to sway a child to come. So now that the power is in the hand of the kids, they can go anywhere they want to go. Coaches couldn't deal with that. They couldn't control the kid. They couldn't say, "Hey, I got your eligibility here, and if you go somewhere else, I can." Remember when they used to be able to control where the kid could transfer to. Remember that? Remember that, Ed and Wood? Remember that, AB, where they would say, "Yeah, you can transfer, but you can't
Yeah.
transfer to any SEC schools." Remember that bullshit? You can transfer anywhere. Nick Saban used to do a lot of that. You can transfer from here, but you can't transfer to any SEC schools. And a lot of big time coaches did that. They made sure if a kid was going to transfer, they made sure that they transferred him away to another conference so they wouldn't have to see them again or whatever, which to me is, I don't know. I didn't like that rule. And, you can't try to, control a kid and then you don't want to pay him what they're really worth to the program. And this is showing you that college football is doing just fine. They're making their money, buddy. And you know who else is making money? Finally, the kids. The kids are making money. Nobody is losing money right now. And it actually is more money because you got more sponsors that are that are giving money to the kids as well. So I don't want to hear anything about, oh my goodness, where are they getting this money from? And there's not enough money to go. No, colleges are still making their money. Donors are still coming out of their pockets. Okay. Boosters are still coming out of their pockets. And nobody is hurting for money right now, especially when you're winning. So they can see me later with all that stuff. In my opinion, of the team moving forward, I think the sky's the limit right now. I think that, as I said before, the Florida State win, the optics of that changes everything. I said last week, or 2 weeks ago, it was the biggest gain, the biggest thing to happen for this football program ever. To have kids to see something like that visually at that school. Kids are going to want to come here and experience that and be a part of that environment just based off of that, even though they may not know it's not like that here, 95% of the time. But for that moment in time, it froze everything and we encapsulated this moment. And that's what you need. I always talk about how Virginia Tech, they made things happen when Michael Vick got there. It was called the Vick effect. And everybody wanted to come there because they saw Michael Vick and how explosive he was and how entertaining it was to watch him and everybody wanted to go there and be a part of him, especially from Hampton Roads, 757 area. And they went on a run. They went on a great run at the school for the state of Virginia. And what they did was great for them. And Virginia could be having a moment like that where something is encapsulated and it's like a picture of time where kids can say, I remember when that happened and I want to be a part of that. That could be what just happened. And I think it did happen. And we'll see the residual effects of that coming in the next couple of years. Because I think there's going to be high school kids that want to come now. There's going to be transfers that definitely want to come here because they can see the blueprint. Man, you said it, Amy. There is so many starters now that aren't going to be here, but they weren't here the year before. They got maybe 7 or 8 starters from last year's team starting now. If everybody's healthy, you maybe only have 6 or 7 starters from last year's team out of all the positions. If that, you may only have 5 actually. Now think about it. And so if you can have that many starters come in and make that kind of impact, imagine the amount of kids that are star players, that are highly touted, that want to be involved in this environment and have now a blueprint to come in and insert their talents into the same spaces that will be vacated when our kids now graduate and go on to the next level or go on to the next part of their life. I don't know. I was just thinking about it and just saying, I look at this and I say, my opinion is sky's the limit. Virginia football is on the map now. A little piece of the map. They're on the map though. They may not have a big piece of it, but they're on the map now. And if they continue to win, as we've all kind of predicted, outside of a couple of my co-hosts, and I know Chad's tired of eating crow every night. For the last couple of weeks, Chad, that crow is getting old, huh? Have you
I said 6 wins. I didn't pick them to be garbage.
No, you're right. You know what? Picking 6 wins for you is like picking a 10-win, 9-win season. You're absolutely right. I give you that piece. You're right about that. My man Thomas Jenkins is saying the big question for the immediate future is, does it make a big enough impression on the high schoolers? Or are we playing the portal payday? They are doing both. I think it's going to do both. How, young players see stuff like that. They want to be a part of it. They want to come to that environment.
But in order to go to UVA, you have to have that mindset when you're in 9th and 10th grade. You just can't say as a junior with a 3.0, oh, I want to go to UVA now because of this. You're going to have consistency a couple years, because the kids that you're going to want are the ones that are going to, because of the criteria, and I'm not saying no other schools have that, because a lot of them, but you and I both know UVA has my 3 child did not get into a, I mean, a 4.3 child for wrestling, but bad for wrestling, to Tech, to Penn State, to Cornell. You see what I'm saying? You have to go there. If you want to go to UVA to play football, you have to start in your freshman year of high school. Have gotten to be on point in order for you to get there to play.
I don't think that's the issue. I think that Virginia is still going to be Virginia. They're still going to have those things where, you got to have, the academic, you got to have the academic piece with you. You're absolutely right. You got to have the academic piece. That's not going to change. But there are kids who are high-end athletes that are going to other schools that do have the acumen to be an academic academically charged student athlete that are going to possibly consider Virginia now. You know, some of those kids that are at Vanderbilt right now that are, that are Vanderbilt's hard to get into. You know, you still have Penn State, like you said. There's a lot of public Ivy kids going to some of these high end schools that can still go to Virginia. And let's not get it. Virginia can also adjust some things to let some athletes in. Not a ton. They don't have a lot of room, but they will see what they can do to get some other students in that meet some of their minimum requirements. Believe me, they will if the athlete is who they think that they are. Thomas is saying in a sport like football, and develop cohesion on like the offensive line, for example, it not always a good recipe. Right. He says you have to get high school pipeline developed. Well, and I think this is the thing that could possibly get that high school pipeline started that they haven't had as of yet. You know, where they got a good pipeline for some of the high
100%
school
agree
kids.
with what Thomas just said. I 100% agree with that. In order to have that pipeline, you have to have the success. It can't be one and done and skip a year. You have to continue that. And is it viable? Like he said, is it viable?
Duke is good. There you go. Look at Thomas. He's laying it down. He said academics is not an excuse. Now he's laying it back. He's saying Duke is good. Notre Dame is good. And until recently, Stanford's been good. So that's exactly what I was saying. There's academically charged schools that are highly academically charged schools that are successful. And I think Virginia can do that. But a lot of those kids that went to those schools didn't consider Virginia until possibly now. And that's what I think is going to happen. They'll definitely get a look. Were you going to say something, Wood?
Yeah, I kick back on that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Amy or Thomas on that. If you don't have the guys in high school coming out with the 4.0 and all that, we just go to a portal like we did this last year. How many guys do we have freshmen this year on this team? If we don't have those guys that have those 4.0, we look in the portal and we got guys, we got transfers from Ohio State, Alabama. We got a lot of guys that obviously we do the homework beforehand before we offer them a bag of money. Hunter Osborne, Mitchell Milton. We're going to make sure you get into the school before we offer you a bag.
Kazim Moore.
Yeah, I mean, you can go down the list just because we don't have high school seniors that come into this program. If we don't have that, we just go to the portal like we did this year. We got whatever the money is, 20, 30 million, whatever it is. If we don't have those high school guys, we just go to the portal, say, hey, you can get in here academically. We want you in football. It's a done deal. So I push back on Thomas. I push back on Amy. Yes, you want to have those high school seniors that can get in with that 4.0, 4.2, whatever the case is now. But if we don't have that, we just go to the portal for the guys we can get in academically. Hey, you're good at football and academics. Come on here, sign this check.
Yes, but
let me add on.
Viable?
Hold on.
That's
Hold on,
what
Amy.
Thomas was saying. How long is that viable for? How long can you just continually pay all this money for the portal? And
as long as the donors keep paying the money, that's how long we can
there you go. But you have to continue to have that success. And you've got your basketball program too that is highly successful. That was highly successful. That now is being rebuilt. That's now having to use the portal, just like possibly the soccer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, football carries everybody. We all know that. But you have to continue, like Thomas said, how long is that money going to be there?
Forever.
This is what I say.
You're being unrealistic. You cannot say it's going to be there forever. They're not going to pay 10 kids every year $1 million, and that 10 million is going to just continue to be there every year. It's not.
Of course it is. We keep winning 9, 10 games and going to the cover. If we have a chance to go to the football
That's what I'm saying. In order for you to be successful, and
so why did
Texas
raise $40 million for their football program?
That's true. That's true. It's just Tech is late.
Football and basketball has nothing to do with each other. I mean, the same donors that put in football are going to donate to basketball. We have plenty of money. That's obviously the results are on the field because we have a ton of money we spent. That's the reason we're winning. It's not because of the players. It's because of the money we spent. It's not because of GPA.
Yeah. Virginia doesn't have a problem apparently with money, and that's been known for quite some time. This is what I'll say. I'll add on to what you're saying, Chad. Yes, you guys do have a point, but let's understand this: the youth, the freshmen, the sophomores that come into successful football programs don't play, right? Unless they're like the kid at Ohio State. Typically, when you have a successful program, the freshmen and sophomores aren't playing. So we can bring in as many young freshman and sophomore players as we want. But typically those kind of players cost you games because they make young mistakes and they're not developed. They haven't been in the nutrition program. They haven't been in the weight room long enough to play against teams that are actually seniors, grad students, players who have been in a system. We got 5-6 year seniors, 7-year seniors, you know, who have paid their dues in college football. So yeah, I get it. Freshmen and sophomores building your program, but you're talking that's the Dabo Swinney. That's a Dabo Swinney plan, and it's not working right now. And he's been trying to develop that. The portal's been around for what, 2 years now. The NIL's been around for another 2 years or so, and he said, or 2 or 3 years, and he's saying, I'm not doing it. And he broke down and saying, all right, I have to do a few to get some kids in. Typically, when you're good, you don't have a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing anyway. So if you go one way and try to develop them, but a lot of times those kids you develop, if they don't like where they're going in their development or you're not paying them enough money, they're leaving anyway, right? So I don't think a school like Virginia is going to have issue getting money. And they never have. Virginia's never had an issue finding money for what they want to pay for. Thomas is saying, if we have back-to-back 5-win seasons, I think that the portal money won't be so as plentiful. I don't think it'll be as plentiful if they have back-to-back 5-win seasons, but I don't think you're going out and picking groceries from the bargain bin either, because Tony Elliott and them didn't get it. Remember, Tony Elliott is coming off of 2 5-win seasons. Who in our sphere, in our world, we're looking at like, who wants to play for Tony Elliott? Who wants the Virginia job? You know, Virginia football has only had one 10-win or one double-digit win season in its career, in its whole existence. You know, what kids want to come play here? But apparently there's something going right in that formula where the money is working in the right way. And if the money's working in the right way right now, who's to say that it can't continue? Remember, they're not, you know, even though you may think right now they shopped in the bargain basement and they're getting lucky, is what it sounds like you guys are trying to say about it. I don't think so. I think the money that UVA is using, and if they continue to use it in the same manner, which I don't see why they wouldn't, I don't see why they can't win 7, 8, 9 wins moving forward. If this is the structure that we're using now, you know, if this is, until somebody comes down and cracks down and says this is a NIL salary cap and in a portal, you can only get so many kids to transfer in now. Until there's like regulations put on it, and I don't see that happening no time soon because everybody's making a lot of money. I don't see that happen. As long as everybody's happy making what they're getting, I don't see Virginia being one of the schools that are struggling and begging for money. Like Tech is begging, like they're like, please, what is it? In Babcock, Amy, when he's saying, guys, I can't do this job until y'all open up your purses, right?
Right. And then they opened it up to tune of what, 280. So,
but you had to sacrifice 2 years.
But we had to sacrifice
there you go.
2 years.
That's right.
And,
exactly.
And yeah.
You had to sacrifice 2 bad years, which Virginia made the decision a year ago to jump into it and get into it and say, what are we going to be? And I'm gonna say my statement. I've been saying it for 2 years. Is Virginia going to sell their souls to the football gods? And they did. And they went in 2 feet. And now we're looking here at a 5-1 season. And to be honest, I think that's why Tech actually spent the money, because they're looking at the school in the East saying, screw this, man. You know what I mean? They're 5-1. That's the reason why I think Virginia Tech opened up the pocketbook. We can't have them looking better than us in the state. But that's just me talking. I don't know. Thomas Jenkins.
100%. That's 100% true. That's 100% true. But I can tell you, Clemson, they are not going to be getting no SEC invite anytime soon after the way they've been playing and what's happened to them.
I agree. Look at Thomas is filling it up. Thomas is saying they got an SEC invite and that would change completely. Devin, yes, yesterday price is not today's price. That's right. Last year UVA is not this year's UVA team. Money signs makes the difference. Absolutely right. Realistically, I think we very fortunate with our schedule. You got a point, Thomas, on that. You're absolutely right. But we can't get, we can't, you can't predict the year. I mean, you can say,
Thomas, he don't need no benefit from no football raising money. He does not need to even have he needs to take a pay fucking cut is what Babcock needs to take.
Oh my gosh.
Excuse my language. Sorry.
Look at that. She's upset. AB, I know you ain't feeling good either. Jump in on some of this, AB. I want to hear what you got to say when we're talking about this whole NIL moving forward. What do you think? What do you see?
Well, that's what I was trying to say in the beginning is if they don't put a cap on it, the players are just going to keep wanting more and more and more and more. And I get it. We say UVA has the money, but it's how much of it are people really willing to spend? Like, when are they eventually going to be like, hey, well, this is enough. Now we're just being greedy, and I'm not saying that it's ever going to get to that point. I'm just looking at the future. If we don't get some control of the NIL, it's a scary world of wanting more. So I think that's where I was going with it. And I do agree that I'm hoping that this does trigger some high school kids to want to come here. But that doesn't even seem to be the trend on what any football team is doing right now.
No, that's right.
It's
kids
not
aren't
the
coming.
trend. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the high school kids coming in. It's really, honestly, who can I get from the transfer portal to fill in these gaps? Not in the way it used to be where, okay, I know that I'm losing my quarterback. Okay, I got a backup, but who's going to be the backup to my backup? I got to go out here and recruit for this high schooler coming out of school. That's not what we're doing anymore. We're pretty much saying, okay, well, I really don't even like my bench player, so let me go to the portal and find somebody better.
Right.
That's what I'm referring to is the scariness of it all, and how much is this going to continue, because there is legit no limits on anything right now. I mean, a player could go use all 4 years of eligibility at 4 different schools. It's just, I don't know. I think it benefits. I think it's a great benefit to some people. I mean, let's use Jamari Taylor for an example. I mean, he was a walk-on at a lower level school, and he by having the transfer portal, he is getting seen on a much bigger playing field now, and he's actually able to show off his talents. Who really would have looked at this kid professional-wise if he stayed where he was at? Because realistically, he's not going to see the talent at that level that he's seeing here at Virginia. So even though we don't have the toughest schedule, he's still balling out in the ACC conference right now. And it's great for him. That's where it's a huge benefit, where there's a kid that didn't truly get a chance that's being seen. But then you have these other kids that actually are good, and they're just changing schools and chasing money. I mean, cool, go get your bag. All right, cool. But at the same time, that really changes the aspect for other teams every single year. And there's no dedication, which I've always been a fan of the loyalty. I've always been a fan of it. Like I always loved part of what I loved about UVA football is that family that you create because you're there for those seasons together. And I can't tell you how many years I have spent with people and enjoying football, and now it's like I don't know any of these people. Like I have no clue who they are.
Well, that's the new landscape we're in. It's fast family, right? It's gonna be your family. Gonna be your family fast, or they're not. And that's the caveat. That's the thing that we're dealing with the portal. And this is all over college football. No one is almost everybody has a new quarterback, throughout the ACC or a contender, outside of the kid at Georgia Tech, everybody has a new quarterback, for the contenders anyway. So, is this the landscape that we're in? I'd rather enjoy the wins than have something negative to say or something that's not favorable about the transfer portal or the NIL. I think if the kids are getting their money, if the kids are getting number one, if the kids are getting their education, and the kids are getting their money, and the college is getting what they get, and in colleges, if you win, you're gonna get money from bowl games, you'll get money from sponsors as far as like, you start getting into the the championship game in Charlotte, and further, the school's gonna do just fine. The school is gonna still got their TV contracts. You want to add anything to this, Wood?
No, I think you nailed it, man. I think that's the world we live in. So we gotta, if you got the money, you're gonna play. If you don't have the money, you're not. So, like it or not, that's the world we live in now, Law.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas, you're right. There's nothing better than loyalty, but what does the $1 million man say? Everybody has a price. Isn't that? Does anybody remember the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, in wrestling? Ted DiBiase, the legendary wrestler, he's called the $1 Million Man. He will walk out and throw, I guess they were fake, but $100 bills out to the crowd. He had a diamond belt, that he fashioned himself, and his statement was on the mic: everybody has a price for the $1 Million Man. And I can tell you, everybody has a price for the $1 million NIL man. Okay. Everybody has a price. And no one is loyal. Because I think about it, if you had a child right now, if Cole, Chad, if Cole was a quarterback and Virginia, he was playing at Virginia as a freshman, and he showed so much promise that Ole Miss was like, look, we'll pay you double what UVA is giving you. Are you going to say, hey, stay at Virginia and get that incredible degree? Although a degree from Oxford's pretty good too. But you say, hey, stay at Virginia, get that degree. What are you doing, Wood? You going to send Cole's ass down the road, ain't you? Right. you're like, peace out, brother. Uh-oh, you froze. But yeah, exactly. You're waving. It's like, go ahead, bro. Go ahead and get that money. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Thomas Jenkins, he said, you're right, Big Law. He said, it's been a long time since I think there's a realistic shot at 10 wins. Focus on positivities. Let's see. Thomas also saying, he said, Ted DiBiase was a good heel. He was. He said, him and his bodyguard, Virgil. That's right. Well, I just feel like, we're in a different bizarro world of college football, where college football is not the traditional pageantry that we're used to. It's different, but I still love it. I still love the game. I may not like all of the things that happen on the back end, but I never did. I never liked everything on the back end either, and that wasn't perfect either. And getting kids and how they promise kids and when they get the kid in here, they change their position. There's a whole bunch of dirty stuff on the back end when you're talking about football, basketball, college recruiting anyway. So there's a big underbelly, that's not good in the college football, college sports world too, that a lot of people don't want to talk about. But we'll save that conversation for another day. But got a question for you guys. Coach Elliot, is he safe moving forward with the trajectory of the team? Let me come to you, AB.
I mean, I think it's all about how he finishes. As it looks right now, yeah. But how do we come off a bye? How do we finish the season? That's the most important thing. I mean, we just played 2 overtime games, which is great, and we finished. But how are we going to finish the rest of the season? And I think that's what it boils down to.
I got you. Amy, what's the trajectory?
I agree with AB. I mean, he's got to finish out the season. And do I think he can beat Tech? Most assuredly. If he doesn't, does that hurt him? No. But I think an ACC championship would solidify his job for sure.
Let me come to you, Wood. Is Tony Elliott safe? And if so,
Oh yeah, he's safe now.
mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll win one more game. That'll be 6. He'll make a bowl. Nah, he's safe now. It's a done deal. I don't know if they'll extend him, but does he have 1 year left?
I think he has 1 year left.
I don't know if they'll extend him, but they won't fire him this year. If he loses out, I mean, I think he'll win one more just by accident. So that'll be a bowl game. And the momentum we have, nah, he's safe.
That's what I was feeling. My opinion on it, I think he's safe. Let me come to you, Ed. What do you think, Ed?
I'm going to push back a little bit on that. If the current trajectory continues, yeah. I mean, the guy wins 9 games, and you don't bring him back. The next guy, whoever follows him, is going to have questions. Wait a minute, he won 9 games after winning 5 games, and you didn't bring him back. I call me crazy, but I have concerns about that. If the current trajectory continues, yeah. If we just barely make a bowl game, like Chad was saying, with just 6 wins, we're 5-1 halfway through the season, and we finish 6-6. There's going to be rumblings, and I'm not saying I'll be one of them, but I would probably be grumbling a little bit more than I have been in years past. He's done when he first got here, I think he made just about every possible mistake a first-year coach can make, and then he invented a few more. Somehow or another, somewhere along the line, I think the last couple of years, he's started to figure it out. So you'll notice you don't hear anybody screaming for Des catching scalp either. So yeah, it's
no.
You can say, well, it's just the players. He's not a better coach. He just has better players. Well, that's true enough, I suppose. But was Joe Torre a great manager because he was a great manager, or was he a great manager because he was smart enough to write Derek Jeter's name in the lineup every day? As one of my old PE teachers would say, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken crap. So,
right.
It's one of these. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't care. We're 5-1, and like we're saying, we could be one bad pass, one bad read from being undefeated. So I mean, it's really hard to complain about that. but Virginia fans can't stand to be happy, so we're going to find something to be upset about. Well, there's no way we can continue this. Well, maybe we can, maybe we can't. We're only in like the fourth, fifth year of NIL. People are still figuring this stuff out. And like you said, the rules could change tomorrow, and you might as well throw everything you've got in the book until then out the window, because everything just changed all over again. I will say this about that. I think one thing I have to give him credit for is he's done a really nice job of going into the portal, identifying what his team needs, and then addressing that need. 30 million makes for a lot better. You can shop a lot differently with 30 million.
You can go to what is it? Trader Joe's, and
you can go to Harris Teeter instead of Food Lion.
Right. Exactly.
It's NIL is kind of like free agency. You're in some way, shape, or form, you're going to be rebuilding just about every year. What you want to do is use your freshman recruiting as sort of developing a core. Your good football teams, your good baseball teams will use free agency to address gaps in their team. But you build your core through that. You draft and develop players. When you draft and identify freshmen. The great thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. You can build a core. I don't think you're going to be able going forward unless something radically changes. You're going to have an element that addresses both. You're not going to be able to just do it with freshmen. You're not going to be able to just do it with free agency, because it's just, as we've seen in even this year, when you bring in, 50 new people, 53, was it?
53.
The first day of practice, you're handing out "my name is" tags. It's
right.
It takes a while for that to come together. It's football is the ultimate team sport. It's 11 guys thinking as one, and when you're just meeting a guy for the first day, that takes some time. So
absolutely right.
I think UVA's always had the money. That's never been the problem. Getting them to spend it is the problem, and I don't think football is going to take money away from basketball, because what's the name on that basketball arena we got? John Paul Jones.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the guy from the Naval Academy. It's an alum who hit it big in the investment world.
That's right.
I don't think that hurt football, and football has the Harrison A. Smith Stadium at Harrison at Scott Field or something like that.
Oh no, there's money. Yeah, and Serena's husband gave $1 million to
just for women's basketball.
So there's definitely
there's money out there, and UVA has plenty of it.
That's right. Devin here, Thomas has said, and Thomas may hit it right on the head. He said an appearance in the ACC championship gets him the extension. He may be right on that. Devin Foster said he said he got to win out, but if he goes 6-6, he's gone. I don't think so. I think
it depends upon what that 6-6 looks like.
Yeah, 6-6, and there you can have a hard conversation. That's what Tom said. I don't know. I think they get 2 more. Worst case scenario, I think they get 2 more wins. And
I think if he goes 6-6, I think there's a chance he could not be brought back.
I don't know if he'll go 6-6.
Again, it depends upon what it looks like. You can finish 6-6 and come back, or you can finish 6-6 and you're done. It just depends upon how things play out. I'm a little bit concerned about the trip to Cal now.
Well, we're gonna see.
I watched them play Duke, and yikes.
Yeah.
They give people trouble.
Well, I'm excited to see what we do, and of course that travel across the country is tough as well. So let's go ahead and get our closing monologues in. I'm gonna start with Wood. Wood, go ahead and give me your closing monologue, brother.
Well, I had a lot of crow this year so far. So 5-1, I picked 6 wins. So I don't hope we lose out. But no, this team is, all jokes aside, this team has surprised me a lot. I think we. I don't know. I don't see 2 losses left. So I think I don't even see one. Maybe Duke on the road. We'll see. I'm going to that game, by the way, if y'all want to go. But I don't know. I think we'll be in Charlotte. I think we'll be playing for the ACC championship and maybe the college football playoff. Ed, you shut your mouth and don't say anything.
AB, closing monologue, AB.
I just hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Enjoy the bye week, and we will see y'all next week. I'm not feeling the best, so I'm going to bed.
Okay, all right. Closing monologue, Ed.
Well, first off, let's say I hope baby and yes, even Amy feel better. They both sound miserable. Yeah, when I did the little header thing for this particular show, um, yeah, just be careful how you judge people. You have no idea what's going on in their world. They may be having a really bad day, and they just don't need your non-constructive criticism. As far as don't throw it to the other team. No kidding, really? You think so? Make the free throw. Really? That's I'm supposed to make the free throw. Um, they're kids. We can say what we want. They're getting paid. They're still kids. They're 18, 19 years old. The kid that was transferred from Tennessee to UCLA. Now I think he's out the door and sort of rethinking some of his decisions. He's an 18-year-old kid that got bad advice.
Right.
So just remember they're kids, and what happened to Kyron Lacey should not. I mean, go watch the tape and then tell me how this kid caused an accident that killed someone when he's 70 yards behind the accident.
All right.
Kid should be playing on Sunday.
Well said. Well said. My closing monologue is, hey, it's the bye week. Let's get healthy. Let's get healthy. Let's get a good self-scout. Ain't that right, Wood? Let's get a good self-scout going. You know what our coaches do? You know what his coaches do? We get a good self-scout going. Figure out
Where's Western this week?
What was that?
Said
Where's Western?
Get back to it.
That's right. That's right. Get some rest up, get healthy, and get your body, ready to play some more football. Keep your conditioning up. This is some things that we would tell our kids. Make sure you're running. Make sure you're not you're not eating bad. Make sure, you're still doing your drills, because you can lose a lot, believe it or not, in a week of being off, especially in contact sport. But yeah, let's get it together, guys. Get healthy, rest up, get good nutrition in your bodies, and let's get ready for the rest of this run, because this could be something special for the University of Virginia, something we haven't seen, if not in a long time, if ever. So we'll be here as long as you guys are. We appreciate all of you for hanging out with us and sitting in. And I tell you, we got some hosts coming. We got some guests coming up as well. Some really cool guests. Can't release exactly right yet. Can't tell you guys exactly who we're gonna have quite yet, but we got some guests coming up here pretty soon. But
look at you teasing guests like a Ryan Seacrest or something.
Absolutely, we gotta do the tease. So
what in
make
the
sure
world?
you stay on here and tune in to us next week. But enjoy this bye. But we want to thank all of you for hanging out and sitting here with us and hanging out. But as of now, this shop is closed. Thank you, guys. We will see you next week.